Welcome everyone to Raceface TV. We're glad that you're with us here tonight. Man, we have got so much stuff going on. We've got a special guest that's going to be joining us in just a couple minutes from up in Connecticut, Mr. Anthony Alfredo. He races for Junior Motorsports. But before we go that, let's do a quick recap of what's going on with the rest of the Raceface brand development drivers. We've got Adam Lemke and Jesse Love racing USAC HPDM midgets in the dirt at Kern County Raceway. And that's from Oildale, California. That's on Friday night. Sheldon Creed, in keeping with the dirt theme, is in Springfield, Illinois with the ARCA Series. That should be wild. The showstopper are probably going to do great things there. We got Sam Mayer, who's back in the Legend Cars at Dell's Motor Speedway on Saturday night. And Ryan Vargas has a well-deserved weekend off, coming off a second-place finish in the NASCAR Pick Your Parts Late Model Series from Irwindale Speedway. And again, a congratulations out to Ryan. That was a great run for him. And then, of course, everyone knows big race weekend at Bristol Motor Speedway this week with the NASCAR Camping World Trucks running tonight, NASCAR Xfinity Series running Friday night, and the NASCAR Monster Energy Drink running Saturday night. And that's where my co-host is tonight, Tom Baker. So Tom, we miss you. I know that Lauren Ranier's up there in Bristol too. You guys have a bunch of fun. But like I said, we've got a special guest with us tonight. We want to welcome Anthony Alfredo to the show, 18 years old, out of Ridgefield, Connecticut. So Anthony, we're glad to have you on the show tonight.
I'm glad to be here. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, just to do a quick recap, we know that Anthony started racing go-karts at the age of 6 years old. Is that correct?
Yes.
Started racing, and then what I understand is you took like 5 years off. Explain to us a little bit what that was all about.
Well, my brother and I both raced go-karts, and he stopped, and I just stopped with him. I was kind of playing other sports at the time anyways, so I continued doing that, and I dropped a few of those other sports and played lacrosse all year long throughout spring, summer, winter, fall. And I did that for a few years. And then when I turned 15, I was like, man, why did I stop racing? Like, that was my favorite thing to do and what I loved most. So that was about the time when I finally convinced my dad to allow me to get into a Legend car. And from there to now, it just felt like a couple weeks, not 3 years, you know?
Wow, that's pretty cool. So lacrosse, I mean, let's face it, a lot of people may not know a lot about lacrosse. I actually, a long time ago, when I was in college, my roommate was from up in Canton, New York, and he was a lacrosse player. And let me tell you something, lacrosse players are tough, man. That is a tough sport to be involved in. So, but you returned to the Legends at about the age of 15, and then I guess the opportunity to run for Lee Falk Motorsports happened in 2015, and that had to be pretty exciting because that's a great late model program there.
Yeah, I'd only run about 12 Legend car races at the time. We wanted to move up, knew I wanted to get into a stock car soon since I was going to be turning 16 at the time, and I basically only ran a Legend car throughout the winter. I got into one and ran a few races up north here. I just caught the last couple races of the year up at Bethel Motor Speedway in New York. And then we headed south, and that's when I started going down there. We ran at Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Winter Heat Series and then Winter Nationals at Orlando, Florida. And that was it. I mean, then I got into a limited late model with Lee Falk Racing, and we had a good year and did the same thing again last year in 2016.
Yeah, so I was checking out the stats. You had 16 starts, 15 top 10s, 7 top 5s, and 3 times you finished third and with a win involved in that 2015. And then moving, like you said, moving into that limited late model series, the Pro Division in 2016, and a win at historic Greenville Pickens Speedway. Man, that's got to be pretty cool to have your name on the list of drivers that's actually won there, because it's kind of like a who's list, if you would.
Yeah, that's definitely a really historical place and a fun place to go race at. So that was a cool win for sure.
So what is there about winning at a place like Greenville Again, there's a lot of history that goes back there. I know that Dale Sr. won there and raced, and you hear like Rusty Wallace talk about it, and Mark Martin and Bill Elliott, and I mean, it's just, again, it's a very historic place to be able to go and become a part of that NASCAR history there.
Yeah, the list of names just goes on. It's really cool. It's similar to Hickory. I mean, as far as just everyone who's won there since it first opened, and a lot of significant racers you went on to make names at NASCAR's highest level. So it's pretty cool to be on that list and hopefully be one of the ones who goes all the way and it does well.
So let me ask you something. Racing in that area, in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, in all these late model races, which is your favorite track? Which one of your favorite places to go race and compete at?
That's a tough question. I like a lot of the places we go to, honestly. Tri-County, though, is probably my favorite. Unfortunately, they don't race regularly, and this year we've only had one race there, and that was when the Cars Tour brought us there. But that track is just so fun. I mean, you can basically, whatever your race car is doing, how it's handling, there's a line for it. I mean, from the up against the wall on the bottom to up against the outside wall, there's a way to make it work, and it gets really racy there. You can run side by side all night long if you wanted to, and we had a great race there about a month ago. And I don't know if you had seen that finish or if any of you guys watching that, but that was a really cool race. There was a green, white, checkered finish, and there was a 4-wide battle coming to the checkered. It was pretty cool.
4 wide's got to get pretty interesting at any racetrack.
At a place like Tri-County, though, it works somehow. I mean, but you really can't do that at a lot of places except for there, because usually when it happens, people are getting shuffled out of line, but everyone was in their own lane. It just happened, from people moving around trying to get all they could get on the last lap.
So I'm gathering that in 2017, something special kind of happened, and you've ended up at Junior Motorsports. So tell us a little bit about how that came together, and was that a phone call that you got, and was it from Dale Jr., was it from Kelly, or how did all that come together?
Well, actually, we were able to get into contact with L.W. Miller, who's Kelly's husband and Dale Jr.'s brother-in-law. So we had a phone call with him that went well, and we were able to set up a in-person meeting with him. So my dad and I ended up flying down there from Connecticut just a few days later at the end of the week, and flew down just for the day. Went down, had a meeting with him, got to meet some of the guys at the late model shop and speak with them, and flew home. And then about a week later, we got the call from LW, and he was saying I got the spot. So that was awesome. It was right around Christmas time, too. So talk about the best Christmas ever, right?
That's got to be pretty cool to be like, hey, we got Dale Jr. in the box underneath the Christmas tree. What could be better than that?
Nothing.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk a lot more about Anthony and his ventures with Junior Motorsports. So we're going to be right back with you. Welcome to Raceface Brand Development. You might be asking, what is Raceface Brand Development? We are all about helping young drivers get noticed while creating a brand. If your branding isn't part of your strategy and you're looking for a competitive advantage in the marketplace, I encourage you to reach out to us at Raceface Brand Development and let us provide you a free consultation on how we can help further your driver's career.
Ever need a doctor after hours? Well, searching won't help. But what do? You could go to the urgent care or ER, but if only there was a better way. Introducing the MNO Plus Card. No waiting rooms, no copay, no consultation fee, giving you 24/7 access to a doctor by phone or online. It's easy to get started with affordable plans starting at $15 a month for a family of 5. For more information, visit mnoplus.com today.
We have a simple mission: build champions. And we do this by offering you the opportunity to learn from some of the top individuals in the motorsports industry. And parents, this course is not just for young drivers, but for you as well. Our 8-week online course will cover marketing and branding, how to build a fan base, how to use social media effectively, how to master the media, and much, much more. So if you are looking for a competitive advantage, then Raceface University is for you. We look forward to making you one of our future champions. Well, welcome back, everybody. Like we said earlier in the show, we got an exciting race weekend going on, a lot of stuff happening. If you're a race fan, I think you probably live for this week. It's one of the most exciting weeks of the year because of all the night racing going on in Bristol. But we got a special guest with us from up in Connecticut, driver for Junior Motorsports, Mr. Anthony Alfredo. So we were just talking right before the break about how exciting it had to be to kind of get that call and get engaged with them. So Anthony, I got a question for you. What is it like really running for, you know, probably the most popular and well-known driver in all of motorsports, with being at that with that junior late model series? What's it like running for them?
It's honestly just a blessing. That's the best way I could put it. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I definitely don't take it for granted at all. Junior Motorsports is such a well-respected organization, and the longer I'm with them and the further we get into the season, the more I learn about how it's just one big family. Everyone, all the employees, the drivers, and everyone's just having so much fun and works so hard on and off the track. So it's really awesome to be a part of their program.
Well, and you've got like a legendary late model partner there too with Josh Berry. I mean, that's he's definitely a legendary figure in that series. So are you learning a lot from him, and is that an advantage for you, having somebody there that you can really kind of look as a mentor?
Yeah, absolutely. I look to him for advice at the track, or just, you know, picking his brain for see his opinion on some things, and when we're in the shop just talking or whatever. But at the track, I can really lean on him for some, you know, helpful tips or advice to get around certain places. We went to a lot of tracks that have been new to me this year with the Cars Tour, so he's been able to help me figure those places out and just, you know, kind of learn from him. He's got so much experience, and especially in a late model, so he's been very successful in the past few years, and to be his teammate's really cool. I mean, when I first got into a limited late model 2 years ago at Hickory, he was there, and it was my first race, and I remember everyone saying, oh, like, you know, watch what he's doing. He's one of the best. So I would have never thought that 2 years later I'd be teammates with him.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So right now you are currently tied for the points lead in the Cars Tour with, I think, 2 races going. So I know what's the strategy? I mean, you got a kind of points race, but because you're tied, it's almost like, well, are you points racing, or are you just going out there going, you know what, I'm going to go out and try to win these last 2 races?
It's kind of, I mean, we're racing for wins this year, and if you win races, the championship will almost take care of itself as long as you can still be consistent. Obviously, if you win a couple but wreck the rest, it's not going to work out. But if you can win some and still have some top 5s, top 3s, you'll be in good shape. And that's what we've done this year. We've been very consistent, and we just got to keep that rolling through the next 2 races. It's hard to plan, you know, how races are going to go, because you can't do that. But we'll see what happens when we come to those tracks. Our next one's at Concord, August 26th, and we'll go try to have a good run there. The team runs well there in the past. Josh won the last one. That was our first race of the year. So we could go have a good run there, take the points lead rather than be tied, and put ourselves in a good position heading into South Boston. That would be the ideal situation.
Right. Well, you talked about that a little bit, the consistency. I mean, you got 11 starts, you have 2 wins, 8 top 5s, and 10 top 10s. So that is, I mean, bottom line is that's an impressive run for this year, and that is consistency. And we all know that consistency is what wins championships.
Yeah, definitely. That's why we've got 2 races left. We'll just try to keep that rolling. You know, like I said, just obviously you want to try to win them both and, come out on top in the points at the end of it. But if you can't, you just got to run a clean race and be smart, put yourself in a good position to get a top 5, top 3 at the end of the night. And that's what we've been doing all year long. I mean, we've had our share of bad nights for sure, but so far in the Car Store Series specifically, that's been going pretty well for us.
Right. So you've got Concord coming up and you have South Boston. Which one of those two tracks is going to be the most challenging?
I would say South Boston, because although Concord's a very technical track and the configuration's way different than anything we typically go to, South Boston just got repaved, and I've never been there in the first place. So I know Josh has been there, so I could probably get some advice from him. But since it's been repaved, from what we've heard, it's way different than what it has been. And to be the last race of the year and the championship deciding race, definitely going to have to go there and work really hard, try to, study some film, take notes, and just talk with Josh, other people who've raced there, gather as much information as we can heading into there so we could have a good night, because that's going to be the most challenging, since I haven't been there and it's the last one. There is no next race after that.
Yeah, there's no tomorrow, right?
No.
Well, maybe the good thing is that it is a repave, because I would think that would put everybody a little bit more on a level playing field, even for people that might have raced there numerous times. Anytime you repave a track, it's almost like, well, you don't really know what you're going to get.
Yeah, exactly. So most of us racing for the points right now are all kind of in the same boat, like you said, with it being repaved, and not really, all of us are going there kind of not really knowing what to expect.
Well, I've got to ask this question, because I had somebody tell me that you have a nickname that you've been given in the Cars Tour, and it's called Fast Pasta. So where did that come from?
I believe it was Trevor Townsend who came up with that. So shout out to you, Trevor. He's over from Hickory Speedway. I met him 2 years ago when I first went over there, and he's been calling me that. I'm pretty sure he's the one who made it up, but they started saying it at Bristol, and now they've been saying it every race. I don't know how much I like it. I was talking to him about it the other day. He's like, man, I guess it's stuck. And I told him, I don't know how much I like that one, but if it helps people remember us from doing well, then I guess it's a good thing, maybe.
Yeah, well, there's a way to get rid of that nickname, and that's win the championship, because then you're always known as championship driver Anthony Alfredo. So I know that you're going to be doing everything that you can do to pull that off, and I know you're going to have a great year. But let's switch gears a little bit, and let's talk about your involvement with JDRF and what's going on there with the AFA Motorsports, and how you guys are actually going out there trying to raise awareness of type 1 diabetes.
Well, type 1 diabetes affects millions of people, and it's a completely different disease than type 2 diabetes, which is why it's often misunderstood. So it all kind of started with my younger cousin Morgan, who was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 6. She's 16 now, so she's been dealing with it for about 10 years, and we've seen her struggle with it and her families, and it's more than just the person who's diagnosed with it. It affects everyone around them, and it's really just a burden to live with, unfortunately. And to see it firsthand and to know that there's millions of people dealing with that it's really sad, and it's a cause that's important to us. So we're glad to support it and help raise awareness and turn type 1 into type none. That's what's on the quarter panel of the car, type 1 into type none. That's what we're trying to do here, and help JDRF do that by preventing type 1 diabetes from happening in the first place. Obviously, it'd be great to find a cure for it, but hope that one day we can just prevent it overall and just not have to worry about it.
Well, I think that's a great cause, and my hat goes off to you for getting behind again a great cause like that. And you know what? That's the one thing I love about the racing community, is the racing community is always giving back. We see it no matter what level drivers are at, and I think that's a really cool thing. And being a type 2 diabetic, I can only imagine, because I do have a couple people in my family that struggle with type 1 diabetes, and it is tough. And you are 100% correct. It doesn't just affect the person that has it. It affects everyone that's around that, from the diet standpoint and So again, a great cause. I know you're doing great to actually put them out there and to get more exposure for them. So as we start to wrap up the show here, let's talk about your plans for 2018.
Well, our goal is to run full-time in the ARCA Racing Series and hopefully get a few Camping World Truck Series starts as well. That would be really great for me to get experience on some of the larger tracks or even just the short tracks, because to run on a radial tire and have live pit stop experience would help me prepare for to continue climbing the ranks. So that's the ideal situation. We're working on some things and obviously still trying to get some more funding to make it happen, but that's the goal here.
Well, I would tell you this, if you're a sponsor out there and you're looking for someone, look no further. I mean, not only is he a talented driver, he's racing for a great cause, he's a great spokesperson, and I just think that if you're a sponsor, again, if you're looking at getting into that ARCA series, looking maybe to pick up a couple Camping World Truck Series races there, make sure that you reach out, find Anthony Alfredo, because you couldn't probably pick up a better spokesperson and a better racer right now as far as where he is with his career. So Anthony, just to kind of wrap up, I want to thank you so much for being with us tonight. We really do appreciate it. We're going to be rooting for you all year, and what we'd like to do is get a commitment from you now. If you win the championship, you'll come back and be on Raceface TV towards the end of the year, and we can kind of celebrate together. Deal?
That would be great.
Well, that's a great deal. Thank you so much again, Anthony, for being with us. And for everybody watching, don't forget, truck racing tonight, a lot of stuff going on this weekend, and we want to be able to make sure that if you're a young racer that's out there, your season is kind of starting to wrap up, so it's time for you to get focused on what you're going to be doing next year. And we encourage you to go to Raceface University and check that out. Okay, again, Raceface University is an 8-week online course where we teach you everything that you need to know to be able to go out and be as competitive off the track as you are on the track, learning marketing skills, how to be able to speak. You just saw this with Anthony here. I mean, what a great spokesperson. That doesn't come, maybe for him it did come naturally, but for a lot of us it doesn't. So it's a great way for you to get plugged in, learn how to be able to go out and present yourself as a professional to a potential sponsor in your place, and that's racefaceuniversity.com. We hope that you check it out. We're going to be starting our next course at the beginning of next month, so September 1st, but it's okay to go in and get enrolled now. So again, we want to thank all of you for being with us. Make sure that check us out on Raceface TV on our Facebook page. Make sure you go and check out Anthony on his Facebook page. And again, as always, we end up every show by saying, go out and support your local tracks, and we'll see you back here next Wednesday night. Everybody have a great weekend and enjoy the racing tonight, Saturday night, and Friday night. We'll see you back soon.